Welcome to the Open Your Doors podcast, brought to you by Generation Success, where we are dedicated and focused on empowering the next generation to achieve their career aspirations. Now, one of the things we've realized over the last decade is how many people we've inspired over the years. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Ruvimbo Gore, who's one of our former mentees, who's a Generation Success alumni, who has gone on to achieve some amazing things in her life. Now, today I'm excited. Ruvimbo, can you introduce yourself to the people watching today's show?
Hi guys, my name is Ruvimbo and I am a former mentee at Generation Success, and I'm here to share some insight with you as to what I've been able to experience the past 2.5 years prior to being a mentee.
Love that, love that. And you know what, guys? I'm sure you're seeing the background behind us. Now, today we are bringing today's podcast from Paul Hastings. We're on the 36th floor of their head office in London here, and Ruvimbo has just featured in a panel session. Today we've matched 17 mentors and mentees together, and Ruvimbo's here to share her journey of being a mentee on the program as well. So that was fantastic to have you back to share your journey, words of wisdom and advice. So thank you.
Thank you, James, for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, one of the things I'm sure people are watching this are going to want to know is for you to tell them a bit about you. What's your backstory? What's your backstory? Tell us more.
Okay, so my name is Ruvimbo. I'm 25 years old. About 2.5 years ago, I was approached by one of the employees at Generation Success they're looking for some mentees, and I then applied for the program and I got in, and then from there my story has just started from here. So I'm actually very honored to have been invited here to be able to share my own experiences and my own expertise by being with this kind of organization, because this organization has actually changed my life for the better, actually, because when I finished university back in 2022, I had little to no confidence in the kind of person that I wanted to be. And this organization really allowed me to get back on my feet and really understand why I studied law in the first place.
Yeah, and that's powerful. I remember when we spoke before, you spoke about prior to us kind of landing in your inbox, you had that nosebleed before your exams, and you're like, actually, it's the law for me.
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a bit about that? And then we can talk about the journey to Gen Success.
Okay, sure. So obviously, as we are all aware, a law degree is quite tough to attain. You have to be really resilient in order to get to the finishing line. I was resilient and I got to the finishing line, but there were some challenges which I did face, actually. So I'm not sure if it was anxiety or whether it was stress, but during one of my final papers, I experienced something very, very traumatic. And even right now, when I look back at the images, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I really go through that? And so I was just at my desk writing my medical law exam, one of my medical law exams. And then from nowhere, I just had blood coming out of my nose. And at that point, I panicked because I was like, okay, am I even going to pass this degree? Am I even going to become a lawyer? Am I even going to become someone great? So there were just a lot of things running through my mind, and I was like, okay, do I give up? So I was like, what do I do? But then I obviously went to go and see the doctor, and the doctor advised me, and then I then deferred that exam because I knew that I just didn't have the strength to do it. But all I can say is that from that experience is that it's always your internal strength which drives you. Because from that point, I wanted to give up, but I just realized that the vow that I made for myself in first year, that, if the going gets tough, you get going, meaning that even if you face hardships and you face challenges, just keep on going, because you never know what opportunities you would have missed ahead. So that is what I want to share with you as the opening statement of my story ahead.
Yeah, and that's really powerful because there's going to be so many people watching today's show who are going through the same kind of battles. They put a lot of pressure on themselves to get the best grade possible.
Yeah.
Some people might be going through a medical situation and having to pull out of university of studies or having to take a time out. And sometimes when you take that time out, you think, oh my, oh my. Hey, go back, go back. I think my cameraman needs to go back to where it was and stop tracking me. At the time you think, oh my, what's happened here? How like the world is over. And
Yes.
but what we say is, life looks like a horror movie. It's a horror movie. It's short term, long term. It's a comedy. So yeah, I love that. And I guess what have you learned from that process, from that situation?
So what I learned from that experience and that situation is that your internal strength is going to be the thing that drives you forward. And this comes from really understanding yourself and understanding the kind of person that you are. And I realized that from that experience that I'm a very resilient person and I'm very determined. And even though, yes, the circumstances were maybe against me at that time, I was able to realize at the end, when I finished the degree, that you are what you make your life to be. And you shouldn't be defined by, I guess, pieces of paper or all those things, but be defined by who you are inside, because who you are inside will always be exerted externally.
I love that. And you've gone on to achieve so many amazing accomplishments over the time period. I have heard that you were, well, of course, you won Global Vision Awards at our Generation Success Equality Awards, which was about 2 years ago, which is fantastic. I think it was definitely a well-deserved honor. You've gone on to be the most influential youth award winner in 2025. And you were an Influence Award for the Marketing 2.0 conference. And we've got upcoming marketing awards in Hong Kong, from Hong Kong in 2025. A Stand Leader in Marketing 2.0 conference. Yes, love that. What else you've got? Your Vision Award from the CXO Conference. Nice. Like official member of the Institute of Directors Zimbabwe. So that shows that you've got a global mindset. A special person finalist. Their World Youth Ambassador, fully funded trip to Netherlands. Amazing.
Yes.
We should talk about that as well. You became qualified as a mediator. And this is amazing. Global Equality Advocate for Internal Peacekeeping amongst Nation States 2025 implementation. So you've gone on to do so many things since that initial incident.
Yes. Yes, I have. As I said, I've always wanted to help people abroad. I've always wanted to travel the world at the same time. So I tried to find different opportunities which could actually help make my dreams come true. So because I'm originally from Zimbabwe, I also wanted to give back to my fellow members in Zimbabwe, as I was fortunate enough to migrate from Zimbabwe to the UK. So I wanted to be able to, to make a life better for another person or other people in other more developed countries, such as the UK or other places where they'll be able to really flourish in the same way I have been able to be granted that kind of opportunity.
Definitely. What really made me smile is when I spoke about all those accomplishments, but also hearing you speak, is I remember when we decided to give you the Global Visionary Award at Generation Success. What struck us was not only your engagement, your commitment to the program and the process, but was the fact that actually you recognize that, yes, whilst there are opportunities here in the UK, there are also other opportunities abroad, and you've tried your best to try to take up opportunities in different parts of the world. And what shaped that? What shaped that outlook?
Well, what shaped that outlook? I think what shaped that outlook was just my own drive and my own determination and wanting to make change and to leave a legacy within society, where we are here working as united nations to be able to work collaboratively in allowing students to really achieve their dreams and their goals. Because sometimes when students are maybe stuck in one country, sometimes they may feel like there's no way out, when really there is a way out. All you need to do is just believe it to achieve it. Because for me, as I said, there was a time in my life where I just didn't have convictions. But then ever since being at Generation Success, they made my convictions turn into a reality. And they made me even soar higher than I ever have imagined. Because can you imagine 2.5 years in and having all these awards at the age of 25? That's not an easy feat, because normally these awards are awards which are achieved by people who are maybe within their late 30s, going on to their 40s and 50s. And for me to have achieved this at 25 and below is just, I think for me, is phenomenal. I'm still lost for words even when I look at all these achievements. But yeah, but the most profound achievement for me was the Global Visionary Award. This was an award and an achievement which I never saw coming, because I had a brief conversation with James. I went for was it that, that thing?
Conference.
Yes, so we went to the CIPD conference, and we were just having a brief conversation about, maybe what I want to do, but I just didn't really think anything of it. And then when I received an email that I was shortlisted for an award, I was like, I just didn't feel like I had done enough. But then when I received this, I realized that, wow, my mission is greater. So then I just kept pushing, and I just found it within myself to continue with the mission which I'm trying to configure.
Love that. Sometimes you just need someone to say, we believe in you, you see your potential, and then that helps to just be the catalyst to inspire that additional energy to push forward.
Because may I say, Generation Success has actually changed my life for the better. If it was not for this organization, I actually don't know where I would be at this moment in time. And because this generation, this organization, it really helps shape young people into becoming beacons of success. Not only because they want to profit or anything, but because they believe in the convictions of young people. No matter how hard or how easy a walk in life has been, they believe in you regardless. And that's what we all need. Someone to just believe in us, and someone to help push us forwards to become the beacons of success that we are supposed to be. Because we are not defined by pieces of paper. We are not defined by the external validation, but we are defined by who we are inside. Who you are inside will always push you to become the greatest version of yourself. And the first step is by you acknowledging who you are. And once you do that, everything else will start coming together in the way that you want. Even if you're knocked down today, it doesn't mean that you're never going to get back up. You will, because it's all about your internal strength.
I'll testify. I mean, that feels like a drop the mic moment, and I think there'll be lots of people who hear your voice, hear you talking, connect what you're saying, and I really are in a place where they need to hear what you just said there. So thank you so much, and I guess what inspired. I guess we kind of covered that. I've got a question here, which is, what inspired you to join Generation Success, and how is it aligned with your personal and professional goals?
What inspired me to join Generation Success? Well, so basically, when I was approached, I didn't actually understand what this organization was about. But as I started reading into it and saying, okay, let me learn more about it. And then when I met James, I was quite inspired to see that, he actually had a law degree. And when I was in a room with so many different people with different types of aspirations, that made me feel like I was actually in the right place. So I realized the reason why I joined Generation Successes because I had a deeper mission which still needed to be unleashed. And through this organization, I've been able to actually realize this a lot deeper, which is why I'm doing what I am doing. And I hope to become a global representative to the younger generations on how to advocate against inequality and advocate for equality, not because of your race, but because it's the right thing to do. Because your human rights matters, and education is a human right that each and every person deserves. Yeah.
I love that. And what I love is already at this stage in life, how you've been recognized for being an advocate for equality and global peacekeeping. You've already spoken about what drives you, but is there anything else that you want to say around that? What drives that passion, creating opportunities, advocating for change? Is there anything in your background, or is just what you've seen in life that's kind of driven this?
So I've always been a strong advocate for human rights in terms of, living in unity and being able to accept who you are. Because the first acceptance in life is all about you before you're able to go and accept other people. Because once you understand yourself, it'll be easier for you to relate to other people. So for me, I wanted to be able to inspire other people to be able for us to live more in harmony than not to live in harmony, if that makes sense.
It does. And you know what? We have a persona at Generation Success called Annabelle. And Annabelle is basically you. Annabelle is basically you. It's actually a female. Annabelle's female. It's a persona, but she's ambitious. She's driven. She wants to succeed. She wants to get a good job and buy a house one day. Be financially secure. She cares about society and others. She wants to pull the ladder back down. So you definitely do represent Annabelle. And there's so many people in our network who share the same values as you do. And actually hearing what you've achieved, hearing what you're passionate about, how you're driving equality is going to inspire them to also go for it. Because also what I see in our members is often they feel that whilst they are very passionate about making change happen, often they feel like they are too young to make change happen. If that makes sense.
Do you know what? I used to think that myself.
Mm.
To all these conferences that I've been to and all these speaking opportunities that I've been granted, I used to think, oh, I feel like I'm so young to be doing this. Am I even in the right space? But I realized it's not about how young you are. It's about the impact you're willing to make. Being the voice for the voiceless. Being someone who wants to make an impact, not only for yourself, but because it's the right thing to do. As I said before, education is a human right that not many people have. And as I said, being someone who was given the privilege to migrate from Zimbabwe to the UK, it will be nice to see another person being able to make something out of themselves. Because you're not, as I said before, you are not defined by what happens externally, but you are defined by who you are inside. Because all these influential people that we can see in the world, some of them have had challenges, extreme challenges, some of those that we don't even know about. But what kept them going is the big question. What kept them going is what's inside, their passions, their desires, and what makes them them. Because it's not the external that makes you, but it's the internal that defines your tomorrow. Because even if you're knocked down today, you can either choose to stay knocked down, or you can choose to push forwards and to become the greatest version of yourself. And becoming the greatest version of yourself all starts with you understanding yourself and understanding your passions and turning your passions into reality.
I love it. Your value to belief system is huge. I love that. That's powerful. And what I was going to say is Personal impact inspiration. I know that you are a finalist for the Inspirational Person of the Year award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Others to pursue their goals and overcome them.
Well, from the experience I had in my final year of university, whenever I share my story on my social medias, especially on Snapchat, people are like, oh, you're so inspiring. You know, maybe I wish to be like you. Because I even had an internship at Oxford University where I was doing a survey for 2 weeks. And just from being at this university just actually showed me so much more that you should not be a barrier to your own success, but you should allow yourself to elevate in different ways. I always had dreams about Oxford, but I never knew if I would ever get there. But I managed to get there through an indirect means. And all I can say is that always keep your dreams alive. No dream is invalid. Every dream is valid. You just have to work towards it to make it real. If you want to become a barrister, do what you need to do to become a barrister. If you want to become a solicitor, do what it takes to become a solicitor. If you want to be renowned, do what it takes to be renowned. Do things which are extraordinary in order for you to stand out. Don't stand out because you want others to see you, but stand out because it's the right thing to do. If that means that you need to advocate for injustice across the world or across the globe, go and do it. If that means you have to fight for injustice in your workplace, go and do it. If that means that you have to fight for anything, just do it. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. And by me saying this, it's all about your internal strength that will guide you into becoming the person that you ought to be and the person you ought to see tomorrow. Dreams do come true, but only if you're willing to work at it.
Yeah, I love what you're saying there, because it sounds like if once you have clarity as to what you want to do, what you want to achieve, then each day break it down into, well, often people get caught up in headlights when they think about the big picture, and for some people it's better just to break it down into small manageable steps and just take action.
Yeah.
And you're saying have that clear vision and work towards it every single day.
Yes. Yeah. But looking at this on the practical side, because I've just spoken about it from a theoretical side, have a vision board. Have something visual that you can actually look at each morning and remind yourself, why are you doing what you are doing? What is the relevance of you doing what you're doing? What kind of impact are you willing to make? And make sure that when you're doing this, you're ticking off every single box. Have you achieved this? If you haven't achieved it, how can you refine the steps for you to achieve it? Because as I said, no dream is invalid. Every dream that a person has is valid. You just have to be willing to work at it.
I love that. I love that. And I also love what you said about having that vision board as well. Yeah. And, we at the organization do a one-page plan, coach program for the entire team. And some of our team members have stuck their one-page plan on their wall. I've personally got a vision board that is on a PowerPoint, and it's like 98 pages. And I just go for it. To be honest, the first 30 pages are visual, and the first kind of 10 pages really mean the most to me. But I do find it really powerful to be able to visualize the future that you want to go after. But you've also said something which is really powerful there. I'm not sure people might have heard it. Is about reflecting against that vision board to see what do you need to do in order to achieve it. Are you living the habits that you have today? Are those habits in line with where you're trying to get to? So I love that reflection piece and accountability piece for oneself. Powerful, absolutely powerful. And one of the questions that the team asked me to ask you was about was around mentorship. In terms of how powerful is mentorship and networking in order to push towards your goals?
Wow. Mentorship is actually an individual journey. Okay. Because a mentor is just someone who has walked their own unique path
Mm.
to get to where they need to be,
Mm.
and are possibly wanting to share some of the experiences with you in order to help you achieve your own goals. So in order for me to really answer this, is the first step is be your own mentor first. And what does this mean? Start by understanding yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, and turn your weaknesses into your strengths. Okay. And then that way you're going to be able to identify, which areas do you maybe need a bit more help in. And when you're able to identify those weaknesses, you'll be able to see, okay, maybe you need a bit of mentorship here, maybe in the finances, or maybe you need a bit of mentorship maybe in how to write a training contract, or maybe you need a bit more mentorship in how to apply for pupillage, or maybe you may need some mentorship in how to become or how to be someone who is known globally, or who may be renowned or something. Because as I said, each mentor that we see, all these mentors that we see all around the world, have had their own fair share of challenges. And their advice could either be meaningful to you or not be meaningful to you. That is why before even undertaking any form of mentorship, you need to understand your position and understand yourself before embarking that kind of support. Because it is good support. Long term, it's good support, yes. But short term, you need to be realistic with what it is that you want to achieve with that mentor.
Yeah. And that's a really valid point in terms of having clarity as to what you want from that mentor. In terms of that, it can be hard for a person to support you if you're not really sure what you want.
Yes.
But the key thing, guys, is even if you're not clear on the career path you want to go to, you can still get matched to a mentor. And that focus of that mentoring relationship is success for me at the end of this program is to have a firm understanding as to what career path, my skills, my aspirations, my strengths, my weaknesses will be best aligned to. And then you get another mentor that be like, okay, I've got the clear idea, now I'm ready to run. Yeah. Where the challenge will be is, of course, if you're not quite sure. Like you have no idea, but you might think about this. And so once you have a clear objective, being matched to a mentor can help accelerate you to getting that clarity you're looking for.
Yes.
What I say is never get put off from having a mentor.
Yeah.
They are really valuable. But as Ruvimbo Gore said, is if you're not clear, it can mess up the results you're looking to get. I love that. And I guess, Ruvimbo, we're almost at the end of the show though, but is there anything else you'd like to share with people who've been listening to us today?
Well, I just want to remind each and every one of you to keep dreaming big. No matter how big you think your dream is, it is valid. No matter how small you think your dream is, it is still valid. Don't let anyone or anything dissuade you from reaching the heights that you want to reach. Because from my own personal experience, I wanted to give up, but I found my own inner strength, and the words which I vowed to myself when I first entered law school was, even if it gets tough, get going and never give up. Those words kept speaking to me even if it was hard. And I just kept going. There was a time I actually wanted to defer the year and be like, okay, I want to defer it and, maybe focus on my own healing or something. But then I realized, you know what? I made a vow to myself and I kept that vow, and it has pushed me to where I am today, speaking here with James at Generation Success, and hopefully leaving you and others with something to hold on to. Because in this life, the only person you can hold on to is you. As much as we have all our families and friends, yes, they can help us in time of need. But you are the only person who's either going to make it or not. So just remember to be strong within yourself and be determined and be resilient in everything that you do. And always remain focused in everything. Always, as I said before, have realistic goals and have a vision board to help you understand where you are in your life and understand who it is that you want to be in your life. It always starts with a yes.
Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So today's podcast, guys, I've got hairs in the back of my hands because it has been a podcast, a show where it's been one of inspiration, it's one of kind of lessons, it's been one that's been focused on the fact that it is your journey. No matter the community, the tribe that you've got around you, it is always your journey. And whatever happens, it will be driven by you. And if you get knocked down, look up, get up, and keep on moving forward. Fantastic.
Can I say something? In addition, also, your family and your friends can only advise you on so much. But at the end of the day, you are the one who has the final say. They may say, try this, try this, try this, but they are just all opinions. But this is where I say that when you understand yourself, you'll know whether something is for you and you'll know whether something is not for you. Because sometimes people's opinions are how they feel because they cannot really understand how you are feeling. Therefore, sometimes when they do say this, maybe it can dissuade you from your own direction. So just try and be very mindful in that regard. But regardless of that, I wish you all the best in your success. Keep dreaming big. The world is your oyster. The world is so big. I mean, we have how many continents? We have 7 different continents, and travel, become who you want to be. If it means you want to become an entrepreneur, do it. If you want to become a barrister, do it. If you want to become a politician, do it. The president of or whichever country, do it. Anything you set your mind to, just do it.
Just do it and make it happen. I love that. I love that. And if people watch this podcast or listen to this podcast and you're inspired by it, let us know. Ruvimbo, how can they find you? Or do you want them to find you?
I'm very open to you finding me. You can find me on my LinkedIn. My name there is Ruvimbo Gore. So if you do have any questions or any queries about what I have said, please feel free to send me a message. I'll be more than willing to speak to and give you some practical advice as to how to go about it. Because as I said before, sometimes we have questions about, the kind of things that we want to do. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And for me, I'll give you the realistic approach and advice that can actually help shape you for the betterment of who it is that you want to be.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast, for doing your testimonial earlier today at the panel for our mentoring program. It's been great to see you. It's been great to follow your journey, and I can't wait to see what else you achieve going forward. So remember, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.